Hi, everybody. I'm so sorry I'm not able to meet with you this Tuesday. I find myself in a situation in which I need to do some travel, and I will be on the airplane all day Tuesday. I will hold a class webinar on Thursday at 11:30, so you can definitely join then, but hopefully this recording might help you out a little bit with this week's work. So let's take a look where we're at. Remember to always go to modules after you get into our class. Module 2, remember, runs through the end of this week. If you take a look at where we're at right now, at this point, you should have already completed, of course, the DQ from much earlier in our couple of weeks together. Should be working on fused sentences and comma splices. It seems like most of you are feeling pretty comfortable with trying to recognize and fix those issues in your writing. One of the things I'm looking for that was due on Sunday was a self-review of your paper draft. I will also try to provide some feedback to you over the next couple of days to help you with that revision process. When you look at the self-review, I give you some guidance. The main thing is that you take a look at your paper through the eyes of your reader or an editor. So don't try to go to it as the author. You're already so close to the material, it might be hard to take, to recognize things. So really try to take a day away from it. Go to it with kind of a clear and fresh perspective. Again, through the eyes of your audience. Somebody who has never read the paper before, who doesn't know the context or know you, and read it as if you were that audience member. And another thing that I think helps when you're doing this is to read your paper out loud. Remember to pause whenever you've placed a comma. Pause a little bit more whenever you have a period. That will give you a sense of your flow, or if maybe you're repeating things, or if there's sentences where maybe you haven't completed your thought or provided enough detail. So I think going back and reading it aloud can really be helpful. So in your self-review, again, I've provided the rubric here for the types of things that I will be looking for in your paper, right? And these are all things that we've been practicing, including description, doing something to really grab the reader's attention, and some of the other attributes of a narrative essay. I'd like you to take a look at each of these pieces of your essay. The introduction, whether or not you've got a hook in that first sentence. Be careful with that first sentence that you just don't state something kind of drab or already known. Like many people have food memories in their life. We know that. Give us something a little bit more. Get something to, capture our interest and make us want to read more. See if you've met the guidelines for the assignment. And again, you're doing this through a reviewer's or an editorial eye. The point of view, make sure that we're looking at it through the eyes of you, the writer, and not like a third person overlooking the whole thing, that it's done in chronological order. You have these wonderful sensory details to really bring it to life and make it seem real. That you have a solid wrap-up. And again, it might help if you review the actual assignment guidelines and the materials I gave you about writing a narrative. Again, as you know, I'm a big proponent of printing those things out and having them beside you so that you can reference them instead of trying to have all these different screens open. Make sure that you're using good college standard English. If you are quoting somebody and they used slang or a colloquial expression, that's fine. But when you're speaking through your writing, you want to go ahead and use that more standardized college level English. If you are providing details for us that are from, if you have another language that you speak, or they are words from that language or from that culture, please do use those. Some of the most wonderful essays I've received, narratives I've received from students, are ones in which they've brought in either their Persian dialect to give us the names of the dishes, or an expression somebody in their family used, or from Spanish, or from different Native American pueblos and traditions. So if you're using or bringing into it something from another culture or another language, do please use those. You might translate that in parentheses for us if that's a concern. That's wonderful, rich description that you could absolutely include. and then of course formatting. Now, please note that you receive the points for this for your self-review. You will not receive points if all you do is post your draft. You will receive the points by posting the review of your draft. Okay, so I want to see how you are looking at your draft as a reviewer and telling yourself what needs to be done to the paper to revise it and enhance it. Okay, hopefully that's clear for you. So in addition to doing a self-review of the paper, I'm having you practice another sentence skill, and that's commas with introductory phrases. Just like the last time, I'm asking you to practice the skill. You see it goes to another place, and they give you the sentence, and you figure out where it goes, and they provide you with the answers. I'm not looking for you to tell me what your answers were. I'm just asking you to do a self-check and to let me know how you did. If you have questions or if you're feeling confused by this particular grammatical practice, so that I can provide you with some clarification on it if you're kind of struggling with it, okay? And then, of course, at the end of the week, your food narrative is done. You've got your first paper to submit, and I'm really excited to see those. So again, you can always come back to the actual assignment to see the samples. And again, I have so many samples for you, so please don't ask me for a sample. I've got 4 of them there. And again, just that same restatement of what the thesis should look like, how to write the blog, how to write a narrative, taking you through the outlining, drafting, and revising process, and a copy of the rubric again. So that's really what's going on this week. Again, on Sunday, you should have posted your draft. I'm going to try to get as much, try to give everybody a little bit of feedback as quickly as I can. You'll need to work on your commas, and then of course do the revising. If you have enough time, you might go to the online writing center at CGCC and submit it to one of the writing tutors there to also get some feedback to polish up your paper. Usually you want to be able to submit that to them a couple of days ahead of time so that there's plenty of time for them to respond to you, but I certainly recommend it. Okay, great. Again, I'm so sorry we're not meeting on Tuesday at 11:30, but hopefully you have found this helpful. And don't hesitate to get a hold of me if you want to have a one-on-one conference like this. I'm happy to schedule time later in the week. And I will hold a class meeting on Thursday at 11:30. All right, you guys take care.